Welcome back to my second video, and one that I have been excited to record and release for a while now. In the detailing studio this week is a Ferrari 488 Spider that I've been washing and taking care of for the past year. The owner finally decided to go ahead and properly protect his purchase. He opted for our executive package, which involves fully detailing the car. This means paint correcting it, valeting it, and also adding some paint protection in the form of ceramic coatings, and he also opted for PPF, which is paint protection film. The film shall be applied on the front areas of the car, so we're talking about the front bumper, the bonnet, the fenders, the mirrors, and the A-pillar. Plus, he also decided to go ahead and protect the side skirts. I really hope you enjoy watching the video and the journey of detailing this beautiful car and making her truly shine like she should. The detail started off like any other job, by cleaning the car. When it comes to cars that will be paint corrected, it's super important to strip the paint from any protection like waxes or sealants. It's also incredibly important to remove any surface contamination embedded into the surface of the paint. The process begins by simply spraying a citrus heavy degreasing soap over the car in order to remove any of the waxes or sealants that might be on the surface. It's then rinsed and washed using a mitt and some soap to further remove dirt that might be stuck to the surface. At this point, a soft bristle brush is also used in order to clean tight to reach areas such as behind logos and just panel gaps and behind door handles. It's important to do this process in order to have a clean area when polishing, especially when the car is going to have paint protection film applied to it, as you do not want dirt stuck under your film. To remove the embedded material stuck to the paint surface, and once this is done and the clay bar comes back slightly dirty and the paint is smooth, it's rinsed off and dried and moved back into the detailing bay and put under proper paint examination lights. Okay, so car is now on the lift. I went ahead and I inspected parts of it myself, a bit off camera, just to get a general idea of how bad the paint is, and it's far from great. It's actually quite bad, worse than I expected and worse than I thought originally. So if I go ahead, turn off the lights. Okay, I went ahead and swapped to my phone for this bit because the camera couldn't pick it up properly. As you can see, it's bad. Everywhere on the rear bumper just has a bunch of holograms. Entire side skirt, and it's the same story on the other side. The other side skirt is just as bad, if not worse. Front bumper has over here, this whole section just has a bunch of holograms. There's more on that side over there. Now we put spot on it. You can see it's rough. The last clip you saw was me walking around the car and showing you how bad certain sections of the car actually were and preparing the car for polishing. I've gone ahead and polished the whole side of the car at the moment, and now I'm focusing on the slower section, which requires some more precise tools and extra care because of how sharp and tight these angles are. The whole running board is full of holograms and haze and scratches. These came from the factory as you saw. I've gone ahead and removed most of them now, but now this is the last section I have to focus on, and I'm going to take you through the process. The way I'm going to tackle this is simple. I'm going to be splitting it up into two parts. I'm going to be tackling the face that is pointing towards the floor first, and then the face is pointing towards the ceiling. Now, these are very, very small sections, so I'm going to be using a 1-inch pad like so, and a yellow disc, which is relatively soft, and a very, very soft and light cutting compound because I don't want to put too much force on the edge over here. As you can see, the edge is rounded off to help when it comes to putting it towards the edges, because the last thing you want is an edge of the pad touching the lower part of the sill and just eating away at the paint and then having a burn spot. Now I'm going to combat this by putting lines of tape on each end when I'm working on the opposing panel. This is what I'm talking about. I applied tape to the surface of the panel closest to this piece in order to stop the edge of the pad actually getting in contact with the paint. Like this, I can polish this lower section easily and not have to worry about burning the paint on this edge. I also went ahead and taped the lower edge of the door over here, as you can see, because there is a chance that the pad might catch the lip of the lower part, and obviously you don't want to eat away the paint down here, being it's usually the thinnest part of the panel. Okay, side of the car is finally done from being polished, and it's looking spectacular. Extremely glossy paint, and this has yet to be ceramic coated, obviously. Now I'm giving my attention to the rear bumper because, well, that's not glare or residual product left on the bumper. Those are the holograms that are in the paint and are just ruining the shine of the car. And there we go. Holograms, swirl marks gone, and now a nice deep red. This is another example of a very narrow edge where you need to use something like a 1-inch pad in order to properly polish it without risk of burning the edges. Slow speed, very small amount of polish. It's a very small area, so it will build up heat very quickly. Quicker it builds up heat, the quicker it will cut, and it's your job to control the heat. Obviously you don't want it getting too hot because that's when you're running into the danger zone. Good morning. Today's the 5th day I've been working on this car, putting in roughly 6 to 7 hours each day so far. It's been a lot of work. At this point, most of the lower half of the car is completely done. It's been refined. It's been corrected and refined. Now I have to work on the top parts of the car, so we're talking bonnet, roof, and the deck lid above the engine bay. I'm hoping I'll finish that today. However, I'm not so certain I will, judging by how long the rest of the car took for me to do. If I get that done today, possibly tomorrow I'll begin ceramic coating the car, which is something I'm aiming to do because, if I'm honest, the car has been here a really long time. PPF is on the way, it was just ordered, so expecting to apply it around next week. I also have a bunch of exams in the meantime, which is going to be fun. Yeah. So with the lower parts of the car done, I thought I'd give a small walk around of the car. I lowered it from the lift, and at the moment the place is a bit of a mess. But it's already looking a lot better. Obviously the main areas you see are not done, so bonnet, roof and such. But the color has really come out. As the camera actually struggles to focus because of that. Now I'm going to be taping off the vents on the back and focusing mainly on this area. Hopefully I manage to continue all the way through to the back, to the front of the car. Apologies. Time to start the bonnet, and I've gone ahead and taped off the vents that are on the front of the bumper, so that once you're polishing the bonnet, polish doesn't fly straight into the vents and then become another job on itself to clean up. And this is the result. The bonnet is complete. It's been refined. and obviously corrected, and it's so reflective. For one, the camera's not picking it up, and two, it's actually struggling to focus. But the amount of gloss and depth in the paint now is spectacular. I cannot wait to apply the PPF on top, which in itself adds more gloss and more depth, and then add the ceramic coating on top of that. This car is just going to look spectacular. Now all that's left is the rear section, the deck lid over here, and half of the roof, and the car will be completely polished, and it's gonna look so good after the final wipe down, removing all the dust. I'm so happy with the way this is turning out. Okay, car has been completely polished and it has received its IPA wipe down. IPA being isopropyl alcohol, to completely prepare the surface for the ceramic coating. And as you can see, this paint is just glass. And this is before the coating, which is insane, honestly. Now in this case, I'm going to be refraining from applying coating to the front end of the car and the A-pillar. This is because these are the areas receiving PPF. I forgot to mention the lower side sills. They are the areas receiving PPF, so you do not want to apply a ceramic coating underneath PPF or else it won't stick very well. We're applying CarPro Finest Reserve on the car. It is a 3+ year ceramic coating backed by a warranty from CarPro and myself. It is the strongest product in the range, and you have to be an approved installer to apply the product, which I am one of, and one of only 2 in Malta, including the distributor. My apologies. So yeah. When dealing with chemicals, it's super important to wear protection. When I'm applying ceramic coatings, I wear gloves and a breathing apparatus to stop myself from breathing in any dangerous fumes. Applying the coating is relatively simple. You apply product to your applicator, dab it on the surface of a small area on the car, and just simply move in a constant, steady motion, making sure to cover the entire surface. You wait a few minutes and buff off. As part of the package, the car is also getting its wheels and wheel arches ceramic coated. This obviously means I have to remove the wheels, clean the area using Multi-X, which is CarPro's all-purpose cleaner, and I use steam to help speed up the process and break down even more dirt. I also use steam to clean the brake caliper, which would help get steam and hot water into tight to reach areas, breaking down places full of dirt that would not necessarily be able to be reached with a brush. I then just simply dry the area and use CarPro eraser to prepare the surface for the ceramic coating. Before, after. As you can see, much deeper look to the plastics, and the caliper, as well as the paint surface back there, was ceramic coated. Gonna make cleaning so much easier now. The wheels are treated the same way the paint is. I first wash them using Iron X to help break down any brake dust that might be stuck to the surface. I then dry them, put them in the detailing bay, use a clay bar to take off any further dirt that might be stuck onto the surface, use CarPro eraser to wipe down the surface and prepare it for the ceramic coating, and then just simply ceramic coat them. I use CarPro Deluxe to ceramic coat the wheels, the plastics, and even the brake calipers, as CarPro Deluxe is a coating specifically designed to withstand high temperatures. Applying a ceramic coating to leather is relatively easy. You have to clean and prepare the surface, so Carpro Inside is used to clean and Carpro Eraser is used to prepare. You apply the ceramic coating, which is sea quartz leather, to a microfiber applicator, dab it on the surface of the material, and just apply your number of layers desired. Usually leather requires a few more layers than paint does, as it is absorbed into the material, being leather is a porous material after all. Once this is done, you just buff off the excess and let it sit and cure. The benefit of ceramic coating leather is you get increased UV protection, hydrophobic capabilities, so stains from liquids will not damage the leather, and even dye transfer from jeans and jackets. And that's it, it's done. 55 hours of work, almost non-stop polishing and cleaning, and just making sure everything looks as amazing as it could. Ceramic coating application and PPF application. As a rundown, this car had ceramic coating applied to the paint, to the wheels, to the plastic, to the glass, and to the leather inside. I'm over the moon. The results speak for themselves. The car looks spectacular. I cannot wait to show the owner and see his reaction. And that's it from my end. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe because it really helps me out. And I'll see you all for the next detail.